Correct.
Print media is still very important. Books have a lasting value in libraries and in homes. But newspapers, they come and go quickly. Yesterday's headlines are wrapping the fish today that you're throwing out. Nevertheless, the local newspapers in a nation are very important. They tell the story of everyday people and their struggles, in their triumphs, and in their tragedies. The local newspapers do something that national media, by its very nature, overlooks. In the United States, there are still at least 64 million people reading a daily newspaper. This is important. It affects their lives. Local newspapers will report on high school sports, local marriages, and terrible tragedies. They are important to the fabric of any civilization. Nevertheless, the quality of journalism is very important. Over the decades, it has unfortunately declined, and not for necessarily nefarious reasons. When newspapers were at the heart of a local community, they could generate considerable funds in regards to advertising and supporting of a variety of local events. With a larger budget, they could hire more reporters. One reporter, two reporters, three reporters would specialize in crime reporting. Another group, local sports. Another group in society and what was happening there. Some would be feature story writers covering human interest. Well, with the income of newspapers plummeting, publishers have been forced to cut back on their staffs. So we'll have one writer covering multiple fields and having to produce an enormous amount of material every week, where there used to be whole teams of reporters. As a result, more and more errors are made. And then there are, of course, some reporters, some papers that do have an axe to grind. And they begin to mix what should be on the editorial page into the hard news coverage. And this has affected the quality of journalism as well. Now, from my perspective, because I was trained in journalism in the good old days when there was objective truth as so important, there was time for editors to check and recheck any controversial story that was about to be published to make certain that it was accurate. And still there would be mistakes made. Today, in today's journalism, there's not that time, there's not that luxury. And unfortunately, people are hurt when newspapers make mistakes. And people are especially hurt if the mistakes were done in some way maliciously. So for the quality of our civilization, I think it's important that newspapers around the world continue to look at their roots of what journalism is about, telling the truth to people who are so often immersed in falsehood and in illusions. I hope the newspaper in your area will be that quality of paper so that your life will be changed for the better throughout the coming years.